Good morning, good morning, good morning. It has been a crazy weekend. I will wait for a few minutes for people to be notified that I am live, and then we're going to keep this nice, short, and sweet. Good morning, Miss Erin. How are we doing today? How's California going so far this morning? Good morning, Okie, LA Duncan, Winks, Proud. Welcome, everybody. Joe Glenn, Tracy K, Daydream. Yeah, it was kind of a nutty weekend, and I apologize. There was a couple shows that we missed, so I have been getting everybody's messages. So I apologize if it seems like I've just been kind of out of it all weekend. We had a whole bunch of stuff happen. My sister in law, her vehicle broke down in North Dakota, so we had to go get her towed. And then, yeah, and now my wife's vehicle's broken down, so it's not a good start to the week, but we will. I'm working on getting that situation resolved. I have to work with the bank to get a loan and get that taken care of. So, yeah, we've been tracking a lot of the stories in regards to some of what's going on in Minnesota, and we're working to piece all the puzzle pieces together. We have a governor who is actively taking a massive megaphone and blowing a bunch of wind on an already enraged crowd. So, but what's going on in Minnesota? Well, everybody knows about the Derek Chauvin trial that's going on. BLM has been out in mass, and now they are. There was another officer involved shooting last night. Another black teenager that got killed. Don't know a whole lot of the details surrounding that, but if you come to riot, you come to do damage. There's a good possibility that you might not walk away alive. It's just it's a sad state of affairs that we have in our country, but they're going to continue to push that narrative. And hello South Dakota. So yeah, I mean, guys, there's Minneapolis is literally 3 hours away. I was going to jump in the car and actually go down there, but I was told by a buddy of mine who lives in the area that was basically on fire. He said, "Don't come." He said, "Any white person with a gun is being arrested and detained." So basically, he had to send his family members to their grandparents' house out of the city just to make sure that they were safe. And he stayed at his house, basically protecting it from looters. So yeah, it's one of those things where you never know what's gonna happen. But I refuse. I'm not gonna put myself in harm's way or in the way of law enforcement being allowed to do their job, because quite honestly, we stand behind the law enforcement. So long as the law enforcement's actually doing their jobs and they're not being shackled, things get done. But when they're being shackled by the political winds or whatever it might be, you lose any ability to have a respectable police force. So yeah, I'm not gonna, until it cools down a little bit, we're not gonna go. I asked him if he would like to come live and discuss it, and he said for my safety and for the safety of the people around me, he said I would prefer not to. Not at this time, anyways. So, I mean, we're tracking everything, just trying to make sure that everybody is taken care of. And yeah, there's going to be millions of dollars worth of damage. And we knew it was coming. Derek Chauvin trial's not even over yet, and they're already doing what they said they were going to do. And I said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was found guilty or not. They were going to riot. They were going to burn and destroy. And they're doing exactly that. So, but yeah, what's been going on, guys? Everybody's kind of quiet today. So, yeah, my wife is having fun with the kids upstairs. So, but yeah, just what are the parents teaching these children? You know, that's a good question. It's a liberal city. So yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of wondering what the world's going on too. Hold on.
You know
better. Yeah. Need to send a lot of love to that area. Yeah, we do. The Michigan hearing is going on. Do you have a link for that, Miss Aaron? I would love to get that streaming live. Yeah, if we can find that link, I would absolutely love to stream it. How you doing, Grumpy Grandpa? I know who you are. Crazy the people you talk to before. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can pull it up.
Oh, boo-hoo. Maybe you should poop in your damn cola.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, I'll take your bike away. Well, stop pooping in your cola.
So yeah, give me a second. Okay. Okay, so let's.
To several people, which is very concerning.
We're gonna do this.
Certified
And we'll have open commentary.
But the other thing
I want to point out is, even if, based on this new theory from Dr. Frank, what's in those machines wouldn't affect it, because he's saying that 66,000 new ballots were created somewhere in Michigan. Well, these machines don't create the ballots. The ballots are paper. Michigan has a paper ballot system. And so the ballots are printed. They're then sent in to the clerk, or they're voted on at the election.
Yeah,
time.
so we are using somebody else's stream, so
or that they're the person they
Ju-
are at the
just
election. Which
so everybody is
basically,
aware.
Since we have paper ballots
With that system, this new theory is basically conjecture speculation, is based on a failure to understand how elections are conducted in Michigan. So nothing would be gained by looking at our system. If you want to determine the accuracy of the election, you look at the paper ballots. As simple as that. And that happened in Antrim County, and it was verified that the election results were accurate. So our opinion is, this is, in addition to what I stated in my brief and what we incorporate from the other counties, this is pure conjecture, speculation. It's in my opinion, this is almost harassment of us. It would create incredible problems for us. We have an election coming up in a month. And for this to occur and potentially decertifying our system.
Good morning, Sally B.
There's no remedy
Welcome.
for that. No protective order could protect us. No amount of money could fix the problems that we cause.
It looks like there's a lot of lawyers on here just trying to
Irrelevant to the issues in your case.
make
Fishing
it.
expedition, and it would create undue harm to the county.
All right, thank you, sir. Grand Traverse County, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Like Macomb County, Grand Traverse County also uses ES&S voting instruments. I have not taken an extensive amount of time to acquaint myself with this case because I don't feel that would be a prudent use of taxpayer dollars. This is an Antrim County matter related to an election in Antrim County using Dominion voting systems. But I also think that for those same reasons, there is no legal relevance to the defendant's.
Just so everybody is aware that is coming on, we are watching the Antrim County hearing. We are streaming from CanCon 1's YouTube stream.
Which means that I don't know what would be gained by accessing Grand Traverse County's ballots and voting instruments. If it's not legally relevant, the court will say that the subpoena is invalid and not issued in compliance. I did also cite in my brief, I spoke with the clerk because I was wondering what kind of work this would entail. And it is actually a rather extensive endeavor. It's not just Mr. Bailey coming to the clerk's office and a quick peek at some things. The precincts actually, the townships actually maintain their ballots. And in order to keep those secure, they would actually have to come together at one location, which due to coronavirus protocols as well as other concerns, the county would probably actually have to rent a facility such as maybe the Civic Center or some other large area where each of the township clerks could bring the ballots. And then there's of course concerns about the security of that. And I laid out several other matters that concern the clerk, but it's a rather extensive endeavor for admittedly a minimal understanding of your case in Antrim County, but I can't discern the relevance of the Grand Traverse County results. So for those reasons, I would ask the court to quash the subpoena on Grand Traverse County's clerk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tholen, and Mr. Peroni,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Livingston.
Yes, we also rely on our brief, and I concur with the comments of other counsel for the county clerks. This case isn't relevant at all because Livingston County uses the Hart InterCivic system rather than Dominion. And we don't see how this would advance the claims that are made in Antrim County or the relief that was requested. It does appear to us that the actual relief that was requested, being a review of the Antrim County system, has already occurred. And so therefore any further review would be moot. In the response, they indicate that they need to review the other counties' systems to verify the accuracy of the reported vote totals in Antrim County. But it's unclear how that would actually pertain, or whether the Antrim clerk acted maliciously or with gross negligence with regard to the deletion of materials. There's no way that the information requested from Livingston County would respond to those concerns that were raised on pages 17 and 29 of the responsive brief. I see that the State of Michigan Secretary of State has filed a motion for summary disposition, and perhaps that may have been ripe for review in December after the forensic review was conducted in Antrim County. And it does indicate that complete relief has already been given in this case, and that the plaintiff lacks standing and has otherwise failed to state a claim, and that only abstract questions might remain at this point. And so we would ask that the court, of course, grant our motion to quash, but if you're inclined to deny the motion, perhaps that should wait until after the determination has been made on the motion for summary disposition in the case. Because we can't permit access to the system. It would corrupt the system and compromise security. I'm told that if any type of thumb drive is placed into our system, we can't use it after that. There's also an indication that plaintiff wants to see the tabulators and the ballots. Well, we don't have any of the tabulators in our possession and control, nor do we have any of the ballots. We don't think that the plaintiff really has standing for the discovery that he's asking for in Livingston County. As has been mentioned, this truly is a fishing expedition, and we're asking that the motion be granted, quashing the subpoena. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and hear from the parties who also filed. We'll start with the state, and that is, did we lose him? No, he's still here. Mr. Grimes, please.
Your Honor, were you addressing me?
Yes, I apologize. The Attorney General's office, please. Mr.
Your
Grill,
Honor,
I said Grimes. Go ahead.
That's all right. I've been called much worse. Your Honor, we don't have much to add to the arguments made by the counties. We did include, as part of the joint motion from the defendants, our motion for protective order, a reference to the subpoenas. We similarly agree that the subpoenas are vastly overbroad and connected to any issue that should be, relevant in this case. And so we would concur in the relief asking for the subpoenas to be quashed.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chasm?
Thank you, Your Honor. As Mr. Grill noted, our joint motion for protective order did include a request to quash the subpoenas, but I think in addition, we don't have anything to add in addition to what has already been argued to this court by the counsel for the respective counties.
All right. Well, let's go to the plaintiff, Mr. DePerno. Your position on these motions collectively, if you would, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, as an initial matter, I'll address a couple comments made by attorney for Macomb County. Plaintiff has no intention to release any images to the public. We would agree to a protective order on that. These machines would not be decertified in any way because there's no harm or damage that would be done to any of the systems. As I explained in our brief, the way forensic images are conducted is
This is from CanCon
put into
1
the system
YouTube channel.
through
So
the
I'm working to get the
where
link
there's only a
for it.
download permitted, no uploads are permitted. Nothing goes back into the system. The same has happened in Antrim County. There was nothing done to the Antrim County system that caused any harm. As another matter, the plaintiff has not received all the relief he's requested. He's requested an audit in the complaint of the Antrim County election. We have not had any type of audit yet. All we've done is collect a forensic image, but we're still waiting to get the relief we've requested regarding the audit. Now, as a general issue, I want to address the relevance of the subpoenas.
This is the Michigan or the
because
Antrim
we believe
County
they're very relevant to
hearing.
this case. First,
Guy.
we have the issue of spoliation. And as a result of the spoliation, as we briefed, the plaintiff believes we have the absolute right to look at other counties. On November 4th, 2020, system files, log files, internet connection files were deleted from the Antrim County server. On March 4th, 2021, Cheryl Guy admitted that she directed her staff to do this. The significance of these deleted files cannot be overstated. Plaintiff is certainly entitled to a negative inference at trial, but he's also entitled to discovery on what has been deleted and how those files affected the election. And frankly, there's no precedent to stop the plaintiff from reviewing the information in other counties based on the spoliation issue. We fully briefed this. I'm not going to recite everything in our brief, but the point is, and I believe it cannot be denied, that the deletion of files gives us direct access to the other counties. Otherwise, plaintiff would be substantially prejudiced.
Jane, am I bringing
We
you in
also
or
briefed
what?
the issue of using the other 8 counties we subpoenaed as a control group. And we picked those 8 counties specifically. We picked them based on geographics, population, and the types of systems they use. Berry County, Charlevoix, Kent County, and Wayne County all use Dominion, which is the same as Antrim County. Oakland County and Livingston County use HART, and Grand Traverse and Macomb County use ES&S. We're fully aware of that, and that's why they're part of our control group. We cannot say that the election conducted in Antrim County was fair or proper without samples from other counties. And that is primarily because Cheryl Guy deleted these files. And just like in any other civil case where information is requested, for example, where there's an issue with deleted phone records, we would be entitled to subpoena both the opposing party for phone records and the actual phone company for phone records. In this case, we're looking to get files from other servers across counties because Cheryl Guy deleted these files. But this is also extremely relevant to our case. Everything within the state of Michigan, including Antrim County, is network-based. And we had a study here done by Jim Penrose that we attached to our brief. He's a qualified expert, 17-year veteran with the NSA, served as technical director of counterterrorism and mission manager in the NSA CSS Threat Operations Center, distinguished government service under President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama, received the Presidential Rank Award from President Obama, awarded DNI Achievement Medal from James Clapper, recognized with letter of appreciation from FBI Director Mueller. So his qualifications, I would say, are impeccable. Jim Penrose discovered that tabulators and other central servers are networked together across Michigan. This is significant. This is a significant finding when investigating the Antrim County case. And when we combined this finding with the work done by Dr. Frank and the Cyber Ninja report we also attached, which reveals a module, an improper module installed through Microsoft SQL that allows direct access into the data, we should be entitled to access other counties to see how their system works and to see how those systems communicated with Antrim County. The Dominion CEO, government officials, and other voting companies have maintained that there's no election machines on the internet. But it is clear, based on the findings by Jim Penrose, that they are networked together. The Penrose report shows that Antrim County received a quote for network tabulators along with the appropriate firewalls and central servers to allow tabulator results to be aggregated at the county for reporting to the Secretary of State. And I should point out that the Secretary of State and Antrim County have so far not given us access to these modems. The Penrose report also indicates that there has been evidence of prior internet-based communications on a Dominion vote device from outside Antrim County. Mr. Penrose also finds that the ES&S system used in other jurisdictions outside Antrim County also show a wireless 4G modem installed inside the tabulators. So the voting system companies indicate that these networks are segmented and protected using virtual private networks or access point technologies. The reality is that these deployments of network tabulators, central servers, and firewalls are all cookie cutter in nature, which means they're easily hackable, or if misconfigured through the VPN or APN, could easily lead to Antrim County systems being accessible from the other counties, such as Wayne County or Oakland County or others. The conclusions in Dr. Frank's report of an algorithm being
Yeah, we're hoping.
across multiple counties.
I think the judge will make a
Various
decision
technical
after
configurations
everything's
clearly tells us
after everybody's
that there
heard.
is
So
some issue related to
hopefully
network
we'll have
connectivity
a
between the counties
positive
and the
thing
Secretary of
today.
State. That means that these systems can communicate with each other and with Antrim County. And that is why the algorithm looks uniform across the state. In Antrim County, it really is just one station that is vulnerable and hackable. And this is why Dr. Frank concludes that these decisions are being decided at the state level. Someone is deciding this key or this algorithm before the election, and then making every county fit into that key. And this is really what our discovery is about, in great respect. If you see in that report that Dr. Frank produced, he defines an R level or a correlation. He talks about that with the different counties that we studied in this report. For instance, Macomb County has an R level of 1. Other counties are 0.997. What that means in real world data is that it matches the function of the regression perfectly, which should be impossible, especially repeated twice in the same election and in the same state. So really, I think the point I'm trying to emphasize here is that this election was 100% curve fitted to the algorithm. We now see that, we understand what the algorithm was, we understand that there was an algorithm in place in this election, and we have 9 counties that we've tested so far. Again, these machines have networked tabulators. The Penrose report again tells us that these networks are not properly segmented and that counties are not protected from other counties using the same deployment. This is the same cookie cutter deployment all over the country, all over the state of Michigan. And this leads us to conclude that other counties, such as Macomb or Livingston, can talk to Antrim and Antrim can talk to them, and so on, because it does not appear that proper controls exist within the Antrim County system or the Secretary of State system. And again, the defendants in this case have refused to produce or answer discovery specifically on these topics. The biggest vulnerability where you have a dedicated network and remote tabulation with the counties and state is the possibility of a bridge to the internet. The bridge takes the protections afforded by a segmented network and destroys them, and actually gives a path to the network. So if the Antrim IP addresses were a bridge to the internet at one point, or the employees had plugged something like a USB modem into those tabulators, and we have evidence now that Antrim County purchased 17 modems. If that happened in Macomb or Kent or other counties, it only takes one system that has a 4G card and is connected to the internet to be a bridge. That's it. And this is the information we're looking for within this study, with going out to these other counties, is to understand how these other counties communicated with Antrim County and how Antrim County communicated with the other counties. Frankly, we should have been able to tell that if Cheryl Guy didn't delete files from the system, but she did. Now we're entitled to go out and find that information from the other systems across the state to see what those files really look like, to see how data was actually transferred among the counties, to see how Antrim County was actually communicating with other counties through IPs and VPNs. Again, this wouldn't, if she didn't delete these files, this may not be the same issue.
Have you
Really?
taken her deposition?
We have not yet. So
All
the
right,
question,
because it's certainly possible that those files have nothing to do with any communication with other counties or with the state. You simply don't know. Is that right?
well, we believe based on our studies, based on the Jim Penrose study, he's able to look at other Dominion machines and ES&S machines and HART machines, and he's concluded that they do have cross-talk, cross-communication with the Secretary of State or other counties. He's even found the onboard modem in the ES&S system. That's what his report is all about, is that cross-connectivity between counties. So we can reasonably believe that Antrim County also communicated with the other counties.
I understand that's your theory, but you don't have any evidence other than your theory and the analysis done by your expert to support your contention that these deleted messages or these deleted files had something to do with these well, let's call it internet communications.
Well, they may not be internet communications. They may just be network communication. What we're saying is,
All right.
there is a network that's involved. That's what the Jim Penrose report is about. There is a network between the Secretary of State and other counties. The way they communicate is through a network. That could be through a VPN or some other way. Presumably, they want us to believe that that is somehow secure. What I'm telling you and what Jim Penrose tells us is that it is not secure if there is one breach at one point anywhere in the network, and if there is one computer that breaches that network and has a computer connected to the internet. Then the entire network is on the computer all across the state, just through one breach. That's what
But your doorway, sir, hold on. Your doorway to analyze, your theory goes that your doorway to analyze these particular issues and other counties is the fact that Cheryl Guy, based on your representations, agreed to or asked for or was responsible for the deletion of certain files. And you conclude that those files must have had something to do with these inter-network communications.
That's the one argument. The other, we've made two arguments. The one argument is just straight up, there's a control group issue here that we want to examine. That's one issue.
Okay.
I think the stronger argument is the spoliation issue, which gives us access to other counties because Cheryl Guy deleted information. If we are not able to look at other counties to see how their systems are set up and to look at their configuration files, to look at their connectivity files and their system logs, we would have no idea what she deleted or how they actually affected this election. And what I'm saying is, based on the Jim Penrose report, he's telling us his findings that he has looked at Dominion machines in other parts of the state and ES&S machines, and has concluded that there is this interconnectivity between the Secretary of State and other counties. And that makes it reasonable to assume, based on his findings, that Antrim County has the same system set up. And she deleted those files. And if we can conclude, as Jim Penrose does, that there is this interconnectivity, and I should point out that the defendant's expert, J. Alex Halderman, he has stated in his own report that the system is inherently vulnerable and that with access to the system, you would be able to change the database and therefore change the results of the election. So the question that we're unable to get clarity on is whether or not there was proper segmentation between Antrim County and these key systems and other counties that have been provisioned in this sort of cookie cutter fashion that is set up by the Secretary of State. So we believe that without doubt, because she deleted these files, I don't see any case law that says that we're not entitled to look at other counties. We would be certainly prejudiced if the court determined that the only remedy for deleting files is an adverse interest or an adverse inference at trial. We believe we're actually entitled to go out, do discovery, and look at other counties in order to determine what files were deleted. And as stated in the Jim Penrose report, files that are on other systems in the state through Dominion or ES&S or HART that provide for this interconnectivity among counties and the Secretary of State. They are communicating. The logical result is that Antrim County is also communicating, and Cheryl Guy deleted those files, which really, this is a big deal, deleting those files. There's a lot of information that she deleted in terms of how the election was run. And I'll just, one more thing I want to point out. We received, I received a message from another one of our experts this morning where he states that if someone has access to the database, anytime after the project file is built, then they could configure the files to swap candidate votes or shift candidate votes pretty much for any race individually by the tabulator, the same way that we saw in this election in Antrim County. And those are the files we're looking for. Those are the system files that would be deleted. And finally, in terms of any other objections the counties had made, I believe that we can overcome all of those objections. As we stated in our brief, plaintiff is willing to share the cost in our discovery. Plaintiff is willing to set deadlines with the other counties. Plaintiff has already articulated the process in which equipment will be inspected. Plaintiff has provided the information on the inspection team to show that they have the requisite training, and plaintiff guarantees that his inspection of election equipment will not alter, damage, or compromise any county equipment. So I think we've satisfied those objections, which means that these subpoenas are not overly burdensome. They're not overly broad. They're actually quite tailored. And we've demonstrated the relevance based on Cheryl Guy's deleting the files and the interconnectivity that we found between counties and the Secretary of State in transmitting information across county lines. Do you have any other questions?
Mr. DePerno, I do. I think you indicated, or maybe it was one of the counties, that you actually submitted 8 requests to 8 counties, and we've heard from, I think, 4 or 5. Is that accurate?
4. We've heard from 4.
All right. And The other four, have they complied with your request,
No, they
your
have not.
subpoena?
The other four are Charlevoix County, Kent County, Wayne County, and Oakland County, and they have all elected to file motions to quash in their respective counties, as opposed to filing in this county. So we
And
now
have there been any, thank you. Have there been any determinations in those counties with regard to those motions?
They have not. They're scheduled for, I believe one is scheduled for later, Friday this week, and then others later in the month.
All right,
So
thank you.
there's been no determination on any of those.
Okay, Mr. Chasm, let me go to you first. With regard to Ms. Guy, obviously she hasn't testified. She hasn't been deposed yet in this case. Do you have any information with regard to the substance and nature of the files that were deleted that you can give to us? And perhaps are you able to answer whether or not those files related to communications with either the network that Mr. DePerno has discussed or with the Secretary of State?
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to point out to the court part of Mr. DePerno's brief that he submitted on Friday, which addresses where he raises this argument about Ms. Guy's comment regarding deletion of files. And I believe it's on page 24 of his brief. And he keeps referring to Cheryl Guy deleting the files. But the reality, which he himself has quoted in his brief, was there was a discussion at a March Board of Commissioners meeting in which one of the commissioners asked Ms. Guy the question, quote, did you direct or delete yourself any files on the Dominion services? Did you direct anybody on your staff to do so? And Ms. Guy's response should say it all. She never said that she deleted any files. What she said, and I'm quoting this, when you are saying who went in and worked on those files, whether they deleted them, replaced them, changed them, or corrected them, it was my office. I have never gone onto that machine, but it was my staff, and it was because they were doing their job. We truly did not have correct training with the Election Source new program because we didn't know we had to pull all the cards back, not just the ones we had fixed. So when you're talking about who did it, I did it. My office did it. My office staff did it under my authority to get those numbers right. It wasn't fraud. It was doing my job, getting my numbers certified. Your Honor, this court by this time knows the arguments that have been made by the county to explain the errors that occurred with the election. Okay. Now, plaintiff chooses not to believe it. Plaintiff chooses to believe that it was not human error. And that's an argument they have forwarded. But to suggest that Ms. Guy deleted any EMS files is just a frivolous argument because nowhere has she admitted to deleting any EMS files. In fact, what is more telling is that while plaintiff keeps repeating the words or phrase, Ms. Guy deleted files, he has not been able to say which files were deleted. His team on December 6th went and took over 8 hours forensic images of everything that the county has pursuant to this court's order. Based upon that forensic exam, plaintiff's forensic team produced a result that this court has had a chance to review. In that report, the only issues regarding logs or files that were missing were their claim that adjudication logs were missing and certain security system logs, Microsoft Windows security logs were missing. There was never any report by his own forensic expert for all these months about any files being deleted. It was common knowledge, and it has been included in all the pleadings that have been filed before this court as to the steps that the county clerk took to correct the election results, which was when they discovered that the election results were incorrect based upon a failure to reprogram those compact flash drive cards properly or to update them, that the county clerk's office went in and replaced that incorrect data, those incorrect results, by manually entering the results from the tabulator tapes. That's not a secret. The court knows it, plaintiffs knows it, the public knows it. It's been reported widely as to the steps the county clerk took in November to correct the election results. So they want to now create this false narrative about the clerk going in and deleting files when their own expert in his report does not.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
make
funny.
reference
The
to
guy,
any
the guy
file
is
being
very
deleted
nervous
other
sounding.
than the adjudication files and the system log. And
It's
that
kind of crazy.
was addressed in Mr. Haldeman's report. If you look at Mr. Haldeman's report beginning on page 45, which we have attached to a different response to in a motion that's for hearing today, he talks about specifically about the security logs and the adjudication logs and the reason why those logs are missing. With regards to the adjudication logs, it's because we never had that, we never purchased the adjudication system. Dominion machines come in comes with a wide variety of packages, just like any other software. And you choose and select what you want to purchase. Antrim County never purchased the adjudication software. And that is why there are no adjudication logs. Now they can depose that expert and figure that out, but that has been explained. Same with the security log. Mr. Haldeman explained that the reason that there were no security logs was because there was a 194 megabyte fixed limit fixed into the county system. And he does recommend that we should not have a fixed limit, because once that it reaches that limit, it automatically rewrites over it. With respect to connectivity, again, the Dominion system, and Mr. Haldeman's report is clear on it. And that's the most interesting part, is that Mr. Haldeman has reviewed the same data, which is the forensic images obtained on December 6th that plaintiff's forensic team did. The same information that has been previously produced to plaintiff. We produced purchase orders, we produced all the things that we produced about 2,500 pages of documents. That is why plaintiff is able to make these arguments. But the fact of the matter is that the Dominion machines in Antrim County did not use any wireless results transmission functionality. They did not have them. We did not purchase them. And it's noteworthy what counsel's comments are. His expert, Penrose, looked at some Dominion machines, found this functionality, and then reaches this conclusion that because some Dominion machines have this functionality to communicate over a network, that Antrim must have it too. The problem with that, Your Honor, is that plaintiff's experts had full opportunity and full access to the Dominion machines in Antrim County. And nowhere in that report is there any discussion about connection to any network, communication with any other county machines or the Secretary of State machine. So to come now in April, when they have had this data since December 6th, produced a report on December 11th, asked this court to release that report publicly by arguing that it had critical information regarding election integrity and security and had to be released before the election results are certified, and so on and so forth. And now on April 7th or April 8th, the day after the discovery was closed, come up with this report from another expert or two different experts now, and make all these claims, and then remarkably argue that we need more discovery. They have now produced 3 reports from 3 different experts based upon data that they have in their possession, yet they continue to argue they need more discovery. So in response to all that, the answer is in the facts in this case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chasm. Mr. Grill, did you have anything in response?
I'll echo Mr. Chasm's comments, Your Honor. And I would also point out, I'm a little disturbed by Mr. DePerno's reliance on this report from Mr. Penrose, Dr. Frank, and Cyber Ninjas, mostly because that was never disclosed to the defendants at any point during discovery. Our first set of interrogatories in this case, issued back in December 13th, I think it was, specifically asked for all reports or draft reports or anything from all of the forensic team and any experts. These experts were never identified to us. They weren't listed in any witness list. There were no reports produced. The day after discovery closed, Mr. DePerno files his motion response, which includes these additional expert reports that we've never seen before, were never referred to at any point in the prior proceedings of the case. And now we're told that we need to do more discovery to look into them. It feels like an ambush here. Beyond that, I still struggle to find the relevance of any of this to the simple fact that the case before this court is what happened in Antrim County's elections. That was supposedly the question that we began with back in well, I guess it was November in this case, was let's get to the bottom of what happened in the county. And it appears that these subpoenas to basically every county but Antrim County is directed toward a disturbing creep of scope in this case. Beyond that, Your Honor, I don't have much else to add unless the court has any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Grill. Let's go ahead and hear quickly from any of the attorneys for the parties making the motions, the county clerks. We'll start with Mr. Tholen. Any additional comment?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Perrone.
Your Honor, we've heard that there's really nothing supporting the claim of a deletion of files or the connectivity of the Antrim system. And so therefore, it would appear that the subpoenas to Livingston County would be based on speculation and conjecture.
Nothing to support, but did they just admit themselves that they shared competence and lack of training?
I may have mispronounced your name. My apologies.
I don't know.
But I'm looking for, is it, I thought it was Mr. Krisha.
Oh, wait, I got on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. No, we
All right.
concur with the statements made by the other defendants in the other counties, and don't worry about my last name. It's you're fine.
Well, with a name like Elsenheimer, I'm used to that kind of thing. All right, and lastly, Mr. Vanderlaan.
No further comments, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Okay, folks, I'd like to take a few minutes and review these issues. We have a series of other motions that we need to address, but I'm going to go ahead and take some time and give my staff a short lunch, which means we'll pick this matter back up at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. So, yeah, give a shout out to CanCon. One, he did some good work trying to get the or getting that Zoom link. And as it resumes at 1 o'clock, we'll try to be on the ball and get that taken care of. But guys, we need to pay attention to this particular hearing because I do believe that there's a massive relevance in regards to the rest of the country. So for now, I'm gonna let you go so I can figure out my wife's vehicle issue. And then we will maybe very shortly see you guys back before these guys show up again and start the next time frame that they have. So guys, let people know that we are trying to stream these live as they come. And quite honestly, I believe that you guys are the key. It is a possible. Canadians are too busy rounding up their own people and putting them in boxcars. And same with down at the southern border. But you guys have a pen and a microphone. Use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. You guys have a good rest of the day. If I am able to, I will be back at 1 o'clock. So in an hour, 1 o'clock Eastern time. So in an hour, and get this fired up, and then I'm gonna kind of bow out, so I can go take care of my wife's issues. So you guys will see you on the next one. Otherwise, if you don't see me, it'll be at 7 p.m. tonight. Have a good one, guys.